I'm going to be honest with you. Am I the only one who thinks that I should have some kind of theme music or something? I don't know. It just seems like it just kind of starts. Something to get me like, yeah! Like Rob Zombie, More Human Than Human, or something like that to kind of segue into. Because otherwise, I just kind of segue into, well, this. Hey, everybody. This is Ray Flick, television beat writer for Bleeding Cool. Like how I did that, by the way. I am here for the Weekly Static. Obviously, you were here for the Weekly Static, and it's great to have you guys here. This is our 29th edition, so we are actually over the halfway hump of the first season. I'm not sure quite what that means, just something we kind of attach to it. I'm speaking to you guys on behalf of the staff of the Weekly Static. For those of you who don't know who that is The Rock, Rocky, that is Bat-Murr, that is Trejo, and that is our most recent addition, Margot Staten, who's been doing some very cool stuff with iZombie, and you're going to be seeing that coming up pretty soon also. But what do we do here at the Weekly Static? It is very simple. We take a look back at the past week in television coverage for Bleeding Cool, and we pick 5 interesting topics that we think we can kind of get our teeth into and offer you a perspective and a take on it. You may like it, you may not like it, you may agree, disagree, what have you. That's good, that's awesome, that's what this whole thing is about. If you want to let me know what you think, hit me up down below in comments if they're working. Otherwise, this is going to be on YouTube. You can hit me up there. You can hit me up on social media. Let me know what you think, because I'd love to know what you have to say. In a perfect world, it'd be great. Oh my God, everybody agrees with me. But I know everybody's going to have some interesting take and perspective, so let me know what you think. Okay, so we do our top 5 in no specific order, but beginning with number 5. AP Bio and NBC. And for those of you who've been seeing my recaps of the NBC sitcom starring Glenn Howerton and Patton Oswalt, you're going to know that I'm a particularly big fan of the show. It has a early season Parks and Rec vibe that I particularly like, that I hope NBC gives a bit of a chance to. My problem is that NBC has been doing the problem that typical networks do. NBC's just been screwing the show over with an odd introduction, only to then pull it because there's the Olympics, but then have the first 3 episodes available online to watch. Then you shoehorn episode 2 at the end of the Olympics closing ceremony. Then you change the show's time from 9:30 to 8:30. Then last night you have episodes 3 and 4 showing the same night. But then you have episode 4 showing before episode 3, and then at the last second, you just kind of change the numbers on it to make 4-3 and 3-4, which is weird because it kind of does affect the flow of the show. I'm not saying dramatically, it's like, you know who the killer is before a killing happens or something, but it does affect the flow of the show. So, and again, it brings up the instance of why people tune out from network television. It's the fireflying of shows. Everybody remembers the infamous Firefly, where executives step in to feel like, well, I'm going to decide which orders to put these series in. No, that's just not how it works, and that's not how you keep faith and commitment. That is why networks continue to bleed viewers away to basic cable, premium, online services, streaming services, everything like that. It's going to keep happening. Don't get me wrong, I'm one of those people who will always get suckered in. Again, NBC was the home of Parks and Recreation. It was the home of Hannibal. But every now and then, there are those little perfect moments. But otherwise, it's just, I always get reminded, network TV is just network TV. Just do better. Do better. You got to. There's just too much competition for you not to. Okay, so that was number 5. Number 4, John Oliver lawsuit. For those of you who didn't hear, the lawsuit the coal industry had against John Oliver and his show on HBO was thrown out, protected under essentially the same clause that protected Larry Flynt when he went after Jerry Falwell, which is essentially, on both merits of John Oliver's case, it's on one, you can't get them for reporting factual or what's in the public record. And secondly, they're a parody satire program. They're parroting and satiring the things that are in the public. And this gentleman from the coal industry, with his comments and everything else, put himself out into the public debate. We need to have these things, folks. It is important, not just for journalists, but it is important for comedians. It is important for humorists, for satirists, for talking head pundits, to be able to joke and say the things and have opinions and things like that, and not have to worry about, getting sued or having their voice shut down. It is insane that lawsuits like this have to be entertained, but because we pump out so many lawyers, we got to give them all something to do besides just come up with crazy wording for terms and conditions. So that said, it's a huge victory for John Oliver and HBO, obviously, in the short term. In the big term, it was a huge victory for, I think, free speech everywhere. We say journalism, people always think New York Times, but some of the best journalism and the best truths that we get about what's going on in society is from comedy. Johnny Carson from his monologue on The Tonight Show, all the way up to Jon Stewart and Trevor Noah on The Daily Show, and everything that we see along those lines. It's important that those things be maintained. So congrats to HBO and John Oliver. Glad that got kicked out. So there's number 4. Number 3, When we talk about Ronda Rousey in the WWE, yeah, I told you folks, we're all over the map today. The thing I want to let you know about Ronda Rousey in the WWE is, first off, I think it's great for her to transition. I think, if nothing else, a little time away before going back to MMA and considering it. But I think the WWE could be very, very good for her. The only thing I'm asking is this. Give her Paul Heyman, but don't give her Brock Lesnar's contract. Because Roman Reigns, when he went off on Brock Lesnar, the thing about that was great about that on Raw is about 90% of that was true, and you really got a sense for the first time that Roman Reigns was really representing what was being thought of backstage. The Universal Championship, I'm going to be honest with you, I mean, I know there's some people who are like, well, it's on Brock and it's special. I forget it exists, to be honest with you. And when it seems like it's brought out, there's nothing special about it because I just assume Brock's going to win. So it's just kind of weird. I know for the short-term gain why they do it, but for the prestige of the title, when you look back at professional wrestling, it's going to be like, So with Ronda Rousey, though, I think you have a lot of serious potential there. I think Paul Heyman could be a great spokesperson for her. But I think there could be some very interesting interactions between Brock and Ronda Rousey if they go that route. But I think she does have, with the fact that she's been training at the Performance Center and everything else, I'm hoping a lot of the fact that a lot of the women wrestlers have been talking crap about her is just all part of a work, keeping fingers crossed, like the Corey Graves, Booker T thing. But I'm looking forward to seeing Ronda Rousey. I think she has a very good presence about her. She knows how to work a camera and work for effect. So it'd be interesting to see if that spreads out. Now, I'm going to assume, unless The Rock is going to be available, that Kurt Angle is going to be her mixed tag partner for WrestleMania because of the way they're building up. But you never know. Maybe Kurt Angle will be their manager or something like that. So that was number 3. We're going to get number 2. Apple and M. Night Shyamalan. Apple is going to be getting into the M. Night Shyamalan business with a new series that he has coming up and an M. Night Shyamalan twist. We know absolutely nothing about it. It brings up the conversation, again, I know he kind of just, crapped the bed with Wayward Pines, and I know people really have issue with the dude about Split. Still not quite sure where I stand with that. I still really, in the Split, Unbreakable universe, I think Glass is going to be a very interesting thing for me. But it's interesting how we pick and choose people we like and don't like. Like, M. Night Shyamalan really pretty much could just make the best movie of the birth of Jesus Christ. And let's be honest with you, he's just going to get trashed for it. I don't know if he's at a point where he can ever come back. The same thing with Zack Snyder, which again I think is also a really odd, weird thing. I like Zack Snyder. I like a lot of the work that he's done. And this animosity of you see somebody's name, so they are horrible, and they are... When you've got some other people that have really done some crappy movies and have done some crappy work and have said some crappy things and have had some crappy behavior, but they kind of always just kind of get by. It's weird, the stuff we'll excuse and the stuff we'll let one person do one time and that's it. They are branded a-hole for the remainder of their life. So I think that's weird. And like I said, I'm curious to see where Glass goes. Is there a chance that the ending to Split was put on there as just kind of a quick save? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not really going to buy into it. A lot of times I hear that from people who just aren't Shyamalan fans and who, for whatever reason, don't like the movie to begin with. So I'm willing to give it a chance. Good luck. Apple, I know, is spending a lot of money into scripted television, so I hope that works for them also. But yeah, I like to see it. I'd be very curious to see, especially because I want Glass to be a success. I'm just a big Unbreakable fan. I think Unbreakable is one of the best superhero movies out there. So, okay, we are 4 down. We are getting to our final one, which is Weird Al Yankovic, who has put out a polka parody of Hamilton. Let's just let that sink in for a second, folks, because I think it's a beautiful thing. We let it sink in? Okay, great. Weird Al Yankovic, I just want to bring this guy up because in all honesty, I remember as years old, when he was around in the 80s on MTV, and it was always, it's kind of like Saturday Night Live, where it was just like everybody would always talk about how, well, Weird Al Yankovic's just like a one-trick pony. He just does parodies. Ha, 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 blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's trace how long this guy's career has lasted. 80s, 90s, the aughts, now into the 10s, and he's putting out relevant stuff that really gets attention. People were very, very interested in this post about the Hamilton polka, and obviously so, I mean, it doesn't hurt when you got something as popular and successful as Hamilton, but I think you also have somebody as popular and successful as Weird Al Yankovic, who's become, I guess in a sense, an honored statesman, ombudsman, and spokesperson for the entire geek pop culture universe. I think it's awesome. Again, for a guy who I'm sure laughs and thinks, how many artists have I parodied or hung out with who aren't even around now, and I'm still making stuff that is relevant and is still charting and people are still talking about and still laughing about. So, kudos to Weird Al Yankovic. I thought this was a very cool note to end on. And that is it, folks. We have our 5. Couple house cleaning rules to keep up to date. This Sunday, we're going to be doing, and we're going to have more information going up. We're going to be doing a live stream of the Oscars, both red carpet and during the actual broadcast. I'm also going to be delaying the Walking Dead live blog to 11 p.m., but we're going to have some advertising going out for that also. But please keep that in mind. But thank you guys for joining me for the Weekly Static. Hope you guys are going to enjoy the rant. If you're watching this first, I will have the rant up there. Hope you guys take a little bit out of that. But thank you guys for joining me. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys over the weekend. Don't forget, Bleeding Cool, www.bleedingcool.com. Enjoy, folks.